2016 is officially ending tonight, so just a quick little message. Any of those who are partying or getting trashed or whatever, please be safe and let's end 2016 on a high note and filled with positivity. And speaking of massive positivity, look, despite all the bad things that has happened in 2016, there are some pretty great and amazing things that happened this year as well, but just those things just seem to be overshadowed by all this negativity. And those things being my top 10 best films of 2016 list. And just a little reminder, I haven't seen every film that has come out this year, and I know there are some films that I've missed and I wanted to see, such as Manchester by the Sea and Moonlight. I just haven't had a chance to see them because life happens, and that's what you gotta deal with life. What can you do about that? And this is my personal top 10 best list of the year, so if your favorite films aren't on this list, that's perfectly okay, because I'm pretty sure that your top 10 list is a lot different than my top 10 list. But these are the films that impacted me in all sorts of ways, whether it made me happy, sad, or whatever it may be. These are the films that I'm going to remember best from 2016, starting off with number 10. So number 10 is a horror film that skipped under a lot of people's radar, in which the area that I live in, because the people that I live nearby, they just don't see these types of movies. And it's a fantastic introduction from writer-director Robert Eggers, and that is The Witch. Now, The Witch is one of those horror movies that you just rarely see nowadays, just from the way it's shot, and even the delivery of its dialogue, from the old English like the thy and thou bullshit. Robert Eggers brings us an incredibly unsettling film that just follows the downfall of this family, and every fate that they may have had is being tested to the absolute core, and it's awesome to watch. All the acting was great, the cinematography was beautiful along with the script, and even had a breakout performance from Anya Taylor-Joy. It's just an all-around incredible film, and I just can't wait to see what Robert Eggers does with the Nosferatu remake. It's gonna be awesome. Okay, so number 9. So number 9 is an animated film that follows a really kid-friendly mystery detective type of story that the more times you watch it, the more entertaining it is, and the more you realize that the precision it took to make this film. And it's crazy that this movie came earlier this year, and that is Disney's Zootopia. Now, I absolutely just adored Zootopia, from its amazing animation, its incredible screenplay, being immersed in this original world where all these animals are living together just seems awesome, right? At face value, it absolutely does, but once it takes that concept and flips it on your head, you start to realize that this is a film that has a much more deeper meaning than what it's trying to bring across. It's something that kids and adults can learn from. Both sides of the spectrum can find massive enjoyment out of this film. And not to mention, the film references that this film makes is just all around perfect and just fits with what's going on with the story. Just a genius film altogether. Okay, so number 8. Now, number 8 is the film that probably brought me the most entertainment out of any film that I have seen in 2016. Some may argue that it may not have the best characters or it's a redundant story, which may be true, but as a fan, it did its job absolutely perfectly, and that is Rogue One, A Star Wars Story. Star Wars fan, can't help it, what can I say? But this film just absolutely covered a lot of grounds that this universe has never really picked up on before, and just widened its possibilities. It had that realistic war element to the film, and had these characters who were portrayed as heroes, but deep down, they were just people who were just fighting what they believed was the right thing to do. Completed with great set designs, amazing action, and an awesome scene towards the end in which the moment that you see it, you realize that you wanted this whole thing all along. It makes the events of the original Star Wars have more weight to it, and that's why I just appreciate this film by a ton. Okay, so number 7. Now, number 7 is a little bit more darker than my previous pick, but based off of filmmaking standards alone, this one just ranks a little bit higher, and that is Tom Ford's Nocturnal Animals. This film proves that Tom Ford is a multi-talent at whatever he touches. At fashion, he's great. At film, he's just as great too. I'm sure if he picked up music or something, he'd be awesome at it. We just have this story that follows 3 different narratives but has relevancy to our lead character, and the way that Tom Ford meant all this storytelling together is nothing short of brilliant. The acting was great all across the board from everybody in the cast. I can go on and on about everybody's performance and how great they were and why, but due to timing, I just can't. It's top 10 best list video. I just can't wait to see what Tom Ford does next. This guy is... he's a genius. Okay, so number 6. Now, number 6 is a film that not too many people saw in the theaters, but due to its mastercraft in stop-motion animation, this makes it my favorite animation of 2016, and that is Kubo and the Two Strings. This film is easily one of the greatest stop-motion animation films ever made. The company Laika really outdid themselves in every filmmaking element. This animation is done with careful precision, which is the same thing I said about Zootopia, but just something about creating the world and the characters with your bare hands, it just makes me appreciate this film even more. but it contains some of the best cinematography I have ever seen in a stop-motion animation film. The way, oh my god, it's so beautiful. It's just mesmerizing. On every frame is a painting. It just proves that Laika can outdo Disney in certain categories in film. This is a company you guys should really look out for. Okay, so number 5. Now, number 5 is a modern western that follows brotherhood and these two characters that attack the higher-ups in refraining them in losing something that's extremely important to them, and that is hell or high water. David Mackenzie and Taylor Sheridan created an almost perfect script dealing with the battle of the old and new philosophies of the West and how these certain viewpoints can't stick with certain people. Again, it's a perfect tale of brotherhood, and it just hit me close to home because I have a couple brothers of my own, and if they were to go through something just as much as these characters were, I would go through hell for them. Maybe not in the form of robbing banks, but like, you guys get the picture. Like, it would be more powerful if you had a sibling of your own. And it's one of the best modern westerns to come out since No Country for Old Men. This film was that great. Okay, so number 4. So number 4 took the genre of sci-fi alien invasion and gave us a nice philosophical, refreshing take to it that we've never really seen before until now with Denis Villeneuve's Arrival. This film not only proves that Denis Villeneuve is going to be a very popular name in the near future, but it proves that he's one of the best working directors today. And me being a fan of the sci-fi genre, I love this film to pieces. Usually alien invasion movies are all about explosions and terrible green screen effects, sort of like certain films that came out this year that we're not going to mention right now. But it actually took a much more, from what I imagine, a realistic take on if aliens were to come down to our planet and just chill there, because I haven't really seen an alien before, neither have we, so it's, from what I imagine, it's a realistic take, kinda. And it's just an awesome film dealing with remorse and hope within these characters that anything that Denis Villeneuve puts out, I'm gonna be really excited for. So Denis, I'm expecting that new Blade Runner to be extremely awesome. That's one of my most anticipated movies of next year, so don't mess it up, please. Okay, so number 3. Now, number 3 is the latest World War II film that follows a true story of a real person, of what he had to go through in both boot camp and war, and it's a great directorial comeback from Mel Gibson, and that is Hacksaw Ridge. Like I said in my review, despite whatever thing that you have to say about Mel Gibson, you can't deny that he's an absolute talent behind that camera, because he knows how to work that thing. My buddy Chase from a few mixed reviews pointed out, and I absolutely agree with him, that this is some of the best directed war scenes that we have ever seen, and it takes some talent to pull that off. Plus, we have an Oscar-worthy performance from Andrew Garfield, portraying a man who just wants to do good in life and wants to prove that there's still good left in humanity. With nail-biting war scenes that makes you just shake the moment that they start, I just had to put this film in my top 3 of the year. Okay, so number 2. So number 2 is a really unconventional type of film that this director isn't really used to doing, but in the end, he pulls it off by a landslide. And it just proves that Martin Scorsese is one of the greatest directors of all time. This man still got it with his film Silence. This film made me uncomfortable to watch at times, but in a very good way, because of all the persecution that these characters had to face because of the faith that they have in Christianity. But it's just those types of films, but as the story progresses, it just continually gets dark and dark. The way Martin Scorsese handles a story is nothing short of genius. It had amazing cinematography where every frame was just stunning to look at, completed with amazing performances from Andrew Garfield, Adam Driver, and Liam Neeson. Silence is a film definitely worth checking out if you're a fan of Martin Scorsese. This film just, oh my god, what an amazing piece of cinema. Okay, so number 1. Oh my god, guys, this is the film. This is like the one that brought me the most emotions, from happiness to sadness to speculation. Everything that a film that should do for me absolutely did it. I never would have thought that a musical would be my absolute favorite of 2016, and that is Damien Chazelle's La La Land. Everything about the film is nearly perfect. The dance choreography is awesome. The way that the camera is shot to making it look like one take, it's incredible work. The soundtrack is something that I can't stop singing or dancing to. It's definitely gonna win some categories in the Oscars this year in music and stuff. Plus some amazing performances from Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling. In fact, they both do their singing and dancing in this film, and it's awesome. Damien Chazelle brought us something incredibly special. If it's near your local theater, I say go out and see this masterpiece. This is something that you cannot miss. I repeat, you cannot miss. Alright guys, that is my list of my top 10 favorite films of 2016. Oh my god, I feel so much better now. It just feels great to bring all this positivity to you guys. But more importantly, I want to know what your guys' top 10 best lists of the year is. And if there's any movies that you have seen that's definitely worth watching, let's leave it down below. We'll have that discussion as well. But more importantly, your top 10 best best films of 2016 list. I want to know what they are. And as always, you can follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and all that social media shit down below. Keep in contact with me. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Have a happy new year, guys. And as always, may the force be with you.